Hey guys, welcome back to the mini-series on how to own a home. So the past 2 weeks we've talked about how much it costs to get into home ownership, and then last week we talked about the costs associated with being a homeowner. This week we're going to talk about the steps to take to prepare to buy a home. So this is kind of the preface to everything else and really the most important part, because without this you can't really get to shopping and you don't have a clear picture on which kind of home you can get into. So stay with us and we're going to dive deep into this today. Okay guys, if you haven't already, go like and subscribe to the Wasatch Front Living YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. Help our channel grow. Also, I am a realtor here in Utah. That means I can help you buy or sell a home. So if you're looking to buy a home, it's still a great time to do so. Please reach out to me. My phone number is at the bottom of this video, as well as my information on how to download the app. The app will be a big part in helping you find a home because it gives you access to all the listings, aka all of the available homes here in the Wasatch Front. So go ahead and give that a download and just shoot me a text and ask me any question that you might have on how to get into a home. Okay guys, step one, we're gonna go ahead and check your credit. So credit is gonna be a big thing. If you can't buy a house with cash, your credit is actually gonna determine whether or not you're gonna be able to acquire a loan. And then based on meeting minimum credit score requirements, that's gonna tell you what kind of interest rate you're gonna be able to get. The lower your credit score, the lower or the higher your interest rate is probably gonna be. So if you have great credit, it's super easy to get an interest rate right now below 3%, which is absolutely awesome. It saves you literally tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. But if you're sitting at a little bit of a lower credit score, that's not the end of the world. There's always options to be able to get you into a home right now and then refinance later as you continue to improve your credit. So there's still plenty of options, but what I usually do with my clients is I sit down with them and get kind of a picture of what their credit looks like. So I'll have them grab a thing off of Credit Karma, even though it's not 100% accurate, either that or TransUnion, and that gives us an idea of what we're working with. Then we generally talk about any debts that they might have and if they've ever had any late payments, etc. Because all these things are factors into whether or not you're gonna be able to qualify for a home loan. So checking your credit and being aware of where you're at is a huge step, because most people can't afford to buy a home with cash. They have to go to a mortgage lender or their bank to qualify and then get the money to purchase the home that they're looking at. Okay, next step after you've sat down, either yourself or your significant other or me as a realtor, to talk about kind of a snapshot of what your credit looks like, the next step is to actually get on the line with a mortgage professional and get your credit actually pulled to give a clear picture and get a pre-qualification letter to know exactly how much you can shop for. Because without that clear picture, it's hard to go out and know exactly what to look for. So that pre-qual letter, it's something we've talked about before, basically tells you, hey, based on our preliminary underwriting, you qualify for $350,000 and a $150 HOA. So this allows me as your realtor to say, oh, these are all the homes that you can get into. So let's go ahead and take a look at, home 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and see which one you like best and narrow down that way. Another great thing about getting your credit officially checked by one of these lenders is that they can also run analysis on how to best raise your credit if it needs to come up at all. So if you're not quite ready with your credit to qualify for a mortgage, then it's pretty cool because they can outlay an exact plan on how to get you to where you need to be. So I've seen it a couple times and it almost always works. So the thing with credit though is that nothing is guaranteed, because no one can 100% predict exactly what's gonna happen. But even though it's not an exact science, I promise it's super helpful to have at least a model to go off of to know where you need to be to get into that home that you want. So understand your debts, generally where your credit's at, then you call up this mortgage lender and you get an exact picture, and either he'll tell you, hey, you passed our preliminary underwriting, let's go ahead and start shopping, or he'll say, hey, let's go ahead and hold on a second and let's get your credit up just a little bit so that you can be in a better position to get a better rate or into a better situation. Okay, so this video is actually gonna be pretty short just because there isn't much to do as far as preparing to buy a home if you're in the market to get there. So if you're serious about buying a home, really you just need to know where your credit's at and have a realistic picture of where your debts are at, and if you've ever had any late payments, etc. All those factors contributing to your credit score. Also knowing that X amount will fit into your budget is a great tool. But that's also something that the mortgage lender, as part of that pre-qualification process, kind of factors in, because they'll ask about your income and they'll get a picture of what your debts look like. So they won't pre-qualify you for anything that doesn't make sense for your budget. But if you have a certain number in mind, it's always good to know that, hey, we don't want to be above this as far as housing expenses. What can we shop for that fits in and makes sense for our certain situation? So if you are serious about buying a home, reach out. Let's get some things figured out. Let's sit down and figure out your situation and see what we can get you into. And if it's not yet your time, we'd be happy to sit down and talk about how to get you guys there. If you're not quite there yet, I would just recommend continuing to save up for a down payment, whether that be 3.5%, or if you want to go more conventional, anywhere from that 10 to 20% range as far as a down payment goes. And then just making sure that you're budgeting correctly. So when you do take those steps to get into a house, you know that you're ready financially to make that mortgage payment each month. So homeownership is awesome. And if you guys have any questions regarding this, please reach out. Feel free to text me, email me, and I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. And again, if you guys are looking into buying a home, go download my app. It's super easy. You can copy and paste that link straight into your browser and it'll download it for you. Or you can just text Utah Homes by Andy to the number listed there and the same thing will happen. So go ahead and do that, download the app, and let's get looking for your next home.